you all for coming to tonight's election forums. I'm Susan Martin. I'm the co-president of the League of Women Voters of the San Juans, which gives me the ability to thank all of you for coming. For those of you who aren't familiar with the League, we are a nonpartisan organization. We do not endorse candidates or political parties, but we do take positions on important issues affecting our communities. Those positions are done at the federal level, or national level, the state level, and the county level. In fact, we just have a new position that was adopted a few months ago, and that's on welcoming immigrants to Washington State, which was based on a study that our league suggested we do, and that I was the chair of the committee that undertook the state. So we have one copy of it. Thank you. We have one copy of it behind you, but if anybody's interested in learning more about the study, I'd be happy to give you information on that. We definitely emphasize the importance of civil discourse. We know that our candidates will follow that rule in terms of what they say about themselves and about others, but we also require the audience to also engage in civil discourse. And Steve will be talking more about how this particular forum will proceed. Final point to make is that while this is our principal mission to inform people about the elections and help them have the information they need to make good choices, and we don't require people to provide donations, we do appreciate it when you do donate to us at the end of the voter forums. It gives us the resources we need in order to be able to keep these forums going. Having said that, let me turn it over to Steve, and here you go.
Thanks, Susan. Good evening, everybody. I'm Steve Bowman. I'll moderate the evening. The first order of business is turn off your cell phone. If anything you've got that is going to embarrass you when it goes off. Can't hear you. Sorry. I'll start that over. Hiya. Yeah. Well, okay. It's a new sound system, and it's just not working right. Okay.
It just cut out.
Yeah,
Steve, do you want to try this?
Okay, I'll try this one. Hopefully I don't curse this one.
Bye.
Okay. Good evening. Thanks, Susan. I'm Steve Bowman. I'll moderate the evening. And everybody now knows they should turn off their cell phones. Yay, raw. Thank you. Tonight's forum presents two candidates for the San Juan Island School Board. They are Melanie Hess and Levi Wolf, who are sitting here. They will be our first two candidates speaking to you this evening. And then we have two candidates for the mayor of Friday Harbor, Emilio Santiago and Evan Perillos. And the school board race will go first, but both of these are nonpartisan positions for 4 years. Ballots, so that I know you'll all vote, ballots will be coming out the 15th or 16th of next week. So we like to get these in before they come. The format for the evening requires a very careful monitoring of time, and to that end, we have cards and a timer. So please notice we have a card that says 1 minute, another card that says 30 seconds, and then the last one that says stop. And I've asked the candidates, don't feel like you got hit with a cattle prod when the stop sign goes up. So please finish your sentence. Just please don't go on for a paragraph. And you already know the League of Women Voters expect civil discourse, and I know you will, and I know the candidates will, because that's how we operate on these islands. So the format for this evening will be each candidate will have 3 minutes for introductory comments. And then after that, we'll go to question and answers, and each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer a question. If you direct a question specifically at one candidate, the other candidate will have a minute to respond to the question with any further comments they wish. And once we're done with the question and answer period, each candidate will have 2 minutes to finish and summarize their candidacy. We expect to spend approximately 45 minutes or so on questions in both races. And I've got 6 questions from the audience, plus a few others that have come in via email. So I think we'll have plenty of questions to go all the way through our time period. And with that, the forum will be recorded. And one other thing for everyone to note, please don't applaud during the question and answer period. Just hold your applause until the end, and then you can enthusiastically say thank you to all the candidates. And with that, let us begin. And Melanie, please, you have 3 minutes, and I'll give you back this mic, which works.
Well, thank you all for being here. I'm Melanie Hess. I currently serve on the San Juan Island School District Board of Directors. Can you all hear me? Okay. Our family moved to San Juan Island in 2017. We have 4 beautiful kids, all of which have attended elementary, middle, and high school. My youngest son, Jack, is a senior at Friday Harbor High School this year. My experience as a parent and a community volunteer has given me a very clear perspective. Public education is the backbone of our thriving community. Having the opportunity to champion the needs of the students, the educators, and the family of this district is a privilege and why I want to serve another 4 years. I'll share a couple principles that I believe in that will help you understand how I want to contribute to this district in meaningful ways. First, I believe providing universal access and equity. Public education exists to provide equal opportunities for all, regardless of background, ability, or income. I really admire the way this district has embraced the needs of all students. Programs like Griffin Bay, career and technical education, transition to kindergarten, ensure that districts can serve the needs of every type of learner and give family choice in their education. I know public education is foundational to democracy. By educating young people about diverse perspectives and the importance of civic engagement, they become informed, active citizens who think critically, and they value participation and responsibility. Of course, there are many other benefits of public education, including economic stability, social engagement, and many others. Public education is far more than just a classroom experience. It is the future of every community, providing knowledge, job skills, and values that create long-term success for students. I believe wholeheartedly in public education. I would be honored to contribute my skills, experience, and leadership to the families, students, and educators of this district. Thank you so much.
I won't even try and use the mic, so can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Please, Levi, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Levi Wolf. I was born and raised on San Juan Island. I've experienced being homeschooled, public schooled, and private schooled. I have 10 siblings that have gone throughout the schools, and I've seen the pluses and minuses of many different teaching techniques that can help kids learn to thrive. Some examples of leadership positions I've been in is that I'm the San Juan County Republican Party Chair. I'm also the chair of the board of the San Juan Homeschool Co-op. I helped create this homeschool co-op to bring homeschool families together and give them assistance in teaching their kids. I have a fresh and unique lens on the strengths and weaknesses of the school because I'm younger and more attuned to the current student experience than anyone else on the board. I'm currently a production manager at a local manufacturing business where I combine trade skills and the latest technologies. One of my goals for the school district is to raise our scores of core subjects. Currently, less than half of our students, 44%, are at grade level math. English is only at 58% grade level. We should not just compare with other schools in Washington State, but we should look at the nation and other state statistics. Like in the Northeast, they have some of the best educational statistics in our country. I want to ensure that we integrate and teach kids how to use technologies like AI and not prohibit their use. I will look for ways that we can stop our students from doing drugs during or after school. One way might be to have some kind of sports program after school that doesn't rely on grade point averages or grades. Another goal of mine is to focus on more trades and hands-on learning. This will improve scores for students as well as teach them real-world applicable skills that will make them productive citizens, and it'll give them many different options for their path in life. Lastly, I want schools to be a place where kids are excited to go to and where they will love to learn and not just see it as an obstacle to get through. I ran for school board because I want to make positive change to the school district and have a heart to make it a place where kids are excited to go to. I also want to make sure parents have a say in their children's education.
Thank you, Lynn. Anyone in the back, if you'd like to, there are seats right in the front here, and you're welcome to come sit. Oh, okay. All right, first question, which came to us from our website. How do you define the role of a local school board and its individual board members, and why are you running for this position? And Levi, would you please go first?
Sure.
Anyone needs it repeated, I'll be happy to repeat the question.
I would say the goal of the school board is to provide a great educational space for the students to learn and thrive and set them on a path that will allow them to succeed in life, and it should be, school board members should be able to provide that, obviously managing funds and ensuring that, the school is in the green and doesn't go bankrupt or anything like that. But it's mainly about the education of kids and ensuring that they can succeed in life.
Thank you. Melody?
So I've learned a lot in the last year being on the school board. And one of the things that I was really surprised by is how much this is a balance of local needs and priorities and state law and policy. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made for the greater good, and you have to balance those in every single decision that you make. Levi's right, it's a lot about financial decisions. The district has an over $16 million budget, so the role of the board is really helping the administration make those decisions based on feedback from the community and balancing those needs with the community. I'm running for this position because I have those skills. I have a degree in accounting and finance from Washington State University. I've worked in finance and executive positions in the tech industry for over 25 years with multi-million-dollar budgets. I ask really good questions about where money is going and why it is being spent. These skills are something every school district board needs. That is why I'm running.
Thank you. The second question, what do you consider to be the most crucial issue or concern facing our school district today? And Melanie, would you go first, please?
Yes, back to finances. So, crucial issues. Funding is always an issue in school district management, right? We have a lot of unfunded mandates by the state, things that the state requires our districts to do that money needs to come from somewhere. And so there's a lot of decisions that need to be made. That's a really tough place for a small rural district like ours. There's a lot of discussion right now about regionalization. San Juan Island does not get as much money as Shaw Island, for example, from the state. We would like to get the same percentage Shaw does, but we don't. We get the same as Port Townsend and Mount Vernon. Now, we all know that the cost of living here is not the same as Port Townsend and Mount Vernon. And so these are really hard issues that our district is partnering with other districts like Orcas to go get that state funding. There are other board members that I work with that are really smart in this area. They work with legislatures and try to push for this type of legislation. So funding issues are really critical for our district as we go into this next phase in our next budget period.
I mean, I had the same concerns. The biggest thing is the state getting money from them to help fund all of our programs. And it's, budgeting is one of the harder things, and getting money from the state to do everything that we can do. The other thing is also all the regulations and rules, and they just come out with more for the schools, so it just creates another obstacle to succeed in the education of our kids.
A question from the audience: what do you see as an obstacle to raising scholastic scores? Levi, would you please go first?
I would say one of the big obstacles for raising scores is I suppose the way kids are taught. I mean, it's sometimes it's part of the system that makes it harder, and if you have really great teachers, which we have a lot of great teachers, they can provide for the kids and help them really learn. But I'd say just the core learning environment is one of the biggest obstacles for kids to get through the learning.
So we just had, and part of the school board, which when we meet, it's a public meeting, you all can attend at any time, I'd love to see you there. We just reviewed school improvement plans at our last school board meeting, and one of the things that I've learned recently is that different cohorts are in different places in their education, whereas the current 12th grade class is in a very different place than the current 11th grade class. And so these cohorts have had different experiences in their educational journeys as well. Recovering from COVID, the students that were kindergartners during COVID, the students that were in 6th grade during COVID, they are struggling. Those are obstacles that is taking years for them to overcome. Luckily, we have really amazing administrators in these schools and are doing a really good job identifying what cohorts need the most help. And they're doing really great things to make sure not only they're academically successful, but their social emotional development is also right there too, because we know that kids lost a lot of that during COVID as well.
The San Juan School District has stated it unequivocally stands for equity and against racism and bigotry. We must be a part of the solution. What would you do to be part of that solution? And Melanie, would you please go first?
I'm sorry, we can't hear back here when you're loud now.
Okay,
Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you for telling me that. I will raise my voice another decibel, I hope.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Sure. Unfortunately, a DOA mic doesn't help at all. Okay, let me try it again. The San Juan Island School District has stated it unequivocally stands for equity and against racism and bigotry. We must be a part of the solution. What would you do to be part of that solution? Better? Yeah. Okay, great, thanks. If you don't hear it, just let me know.
Okay.
I'll go up again, I hope.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Oh, sure. Thanks for coming. Okay. Melanie, would you please start with that one?
So as I mentioned in my opener, I do believe in equitable education. As a school board member, it is our duty to consider all needs of all students, whether they have different abilities, whether their income or their background are different. I think equity in education is all about making sure we're serving all students, all the way out to the fringes, not just to the center. As a school board, we are encountered with lots of different questions from the community all the time. I think listening to the community and hearing what those needs are is a super critical role, and that's something that I do every single day. As a parent in the community, I really empathize with that need, and so as part of that community, it's something that I really strive to do today, and I will continue to do if reelected.
Yeah, I mean, we have no room for racism and bigotry inside our schools. It's not it happens, and we need to be proactive in, um, you know, stopping kids from doing it and feeling like they need to do it, but also assisting anyone that is bullied or harmed in that way, or has anything against them based on their race or skin or anything else.
Have a seat. As one member of a 5-member school board, you're going to have moments where you disagree with your fellow board members, superintendent, or state legislators. How do you deal with disagreements in these situations while maintaining working relationships?
Well, I mean, obviously we have discourse and we talked about possible solutions to the problem, and we hear each other's thoughts on it so that we can get the picture on both sides and what they're talking about and try to understand the other side. Obviously, we'll be respectful, but the disagreements between board members and with state legislative, it's going to happen, but it's just be respectful, and you get out your ideas, and then we see what the rest of the board thinks, and it's a majority vote for everything, so it's just a matter of talking with them to get the best ideas out.
I think this is always a really good opportunity to set a great example for students. Being on the school board, there is times where we disagree. We have disagreed, and votes have not all been unanimous. And so I think it's really important to respect the process and be a good example for the students of this district. I also think it's really important once the vote has been had, the decision has been made, we move on. We can't linger, we can't talk in the community about what happens in the board meetings between I have this opinion, he had that opinion. We need to accept the vote and move on and respect the process and set that good example for our students.
Thank you. Do you support parental rights? No. You're welcome to go anywhere you'd like with it. It's a question from the audience, and that's all I've got.
That is a very broad question. As a parent, yes, of course, I support parental rights. I think I'm going to go where I think this is headed. Choice in education is really important. And that's what I think this district has really tried to provide through all these different programs, like I mentioned earlier. Griffin Bay is amazing. We have so many students that don't even live on this island, and they attend Griffin Bay virtually because it's such a great program with a lot of different diverse curriculum for students to attend. We help with the homeschooling program, providing curriculum. We also have transition to kindergarten, which is a great choice in education for parents for kids of a young age who need to transition to kindergarten. Career and technical education is an award-winning program in this district. I'm really proud of the work that they've done, and I think there's a lot more opportunity in this space, especially in the trade education and technology education specifically. So yes, I believe in parental rights when it comes to education and public education specifically, because that is what this school district is about. We need to give parents options for different learning experiences for different kinds of learners, and this district has done an outstanding job so far doing that.
Yes, I support parental rights. Parents should have a say in their children's education, and with a public school, there's lots of different views and ways that people might want their children taught, but it's a core thing that parents have a say in some of the curriculum that the teachers are teaching the kids. I mean, lots of decisions for the kids are the parents' right. So, yes.
Thank you. Some states are now offering vouchers for charter and private schools. What is your opinion on school vouchers, and more broadly, how do you envision the future of public education in the state of Washington and San Juan Island? Everybody hear that? Great. Levi?
I think having vouchers for kids, a great idea, especially for if, you're trying to do things outside of public school. Well, I'll just use my voice. Uh, Vouchers for schools, I think would look great. I'd have to look at the financials on how well that would work and sort out with our school district. Ours is smaller, so it'll definitely have a bigger impact with our community. Um, but I think overall, it's definitely something to look into, and it could certainly help our community. It might, shift things from public school to more private schools or other things of that sort. But um, that is, that's my opinion on school vouchers. I go with the other half of that question.
Try it again. No? How about now? Good? Okay. So vouchers, first of all, they're not legal in Washington State. The entire state does not allow them. And so as a district, we will go with where the state goes with that. Is it a good idea for our island? We're a pretty small community with a very small budget. I can't imagine it would pencil out to bifurcate the educational experience in this community. It is already so small. I don't think that the needs of a few would outweigh the needs of the whole here. And so while I think it works for some larger communities in other parts of the state and even in the country, I do not think it would work here. But honestly, it's irrelevant right now because it's illegal in Washington State.
There was a second part to that question
Okay.
that I'd like both of you to address, and Melanie, you can start with it. And that's broadly, how do you envision the future of public education in the state of Washington and San Juan Island?
The future of public education.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would like to continue to have public education in the way that we have it today, making sure it's accessible to all, it's very equitable for all. I really like where our district has gone, again, with the career and technical education, providing opportunities for students who are not looking at four-year universities. We have a lot of students here who are pursuing jobs right after high school. Maybe they're pursuing trade school or jobs off island. I think we need to invest more in that because that is the community that we live in. And so when I think about what we want as an island, a small island community, I think investment in that type of curriculum is really important for our community.
Thank you.
I think our school district is headed in the right way in a lot of different areas and subjects. I think locally we're doing pretty well, and there are some improvements we can make, but we are heading in the right direction. More broadly with the state and country, I couldn't really tell you exactly. There's many different ways that things could go, but the trajectory I see is we need to just bolster our local education and maybe have a little less federal and state regulations being thrown at them.
Thank you. Another question from the audience. What improvements will you promote as a member of the school board? And Levi, would you please go first?
I think I would try to get some improvements in making more hands-on learning, and we do some good talks on trades, but there's room for more maybe shop classes and other trade-related classes. But I think we just need more hands-on in the classrooms when that comes to science, maybe more experiments, or if it's, marine biology, bringing in fish life. We have a great place to have a great course for that. But yeah, that's what I think.
One of the things I've really enjoyed working on with the administrators is their improvement plans. So test them are great. Some of them are not where they need to be. And so one of the things I love about the way the administration really thinks about test scores is it's not about the destination. It's not about the score. It's about the improvement year over year over year. And so really helping our students make 1%, that one step forward every year, so that each cohort, by the time they graduate, they feel fully armed to enter either the workforce or go on to post-secondary or college education. So again, for me, it's all about what are the small steps we're doing every year to help the schools improve their test scores year after year.
Thank you. San Juan Island School District finances its work through a variety of funding methods, including federal, state, and local levies. Do you feel these methods are sufficient for our district? And if not, what additional funding sources would you suggest pursuing? And Melanie, would you go first, please?
Sure, I have a lot of thoughts on this. As I mentioned earlier, the regionalization is a big deal for our district because it's hard to attract teachers that can afford to live here when it's so expensive. And so our budget is really, really important. So when we think about getting that next level in dollars from the state, that is a really important goal from a financial perspective. Other critical issues facing sort of the financial aspect of the board and the district is really around special education. So special education impacts the district probably the most. It's not totally covered by the state. There's a certain level that we have to get to on our own, and then the state supplements. And there's about a $500,000 gap in special education every year that the district has to fund. And so this is an area where we need a lot of work. There's a lot of special ed students in this district that really need our support. And so coming up with plans to make sure we can close that gap, not make it $500,000 for these special ed students and their educators, I think is a really primary critical issue we need to address in the next budget cycle.
Sure. San Juan Island School District finances its work through a variety of funding methods, including federal, state, and local levies. Do you feel these methods are sufficient for our district? And if not, what additional funding sources would you suggest pursuing?
Well, at the moment, we're getting by, but, I mean, to Ms. Hess's point, we do need more funding from the state, and if we get onto the same levels as our other islands, that will help us drastically. I mean, it at that point just comes down to budgeting and how much money we get is how far we can pursue extra activities and help the kids more, just dependent on the funds that we have. We do a pretty good job, and after COVID, we do have even more special education kids because it has grown after that caused many mental health problems with kids. And even the younger generation has lots of mental health problems, and it does affect their schooling, and if we can get some programs to help them out with that, that would be great.
Thank you. Those are all the questions that I have, so we'll go ahead and move on to closing statements from the two. And Levi, would you go first, please?
Sure. Thank you for your time and attention tonight. I believe I am a better candidate than my appointed opponent for the school board because I've received training from the Leadership Institute to prepare for this role, and I have attended most of the school board meetings this year and stayed deeply engaged. My unique perspective shaped by my more recent educational experiences as well as being homeschooled, private schooled, and public schooled, and the decades of experience my 10 siblings had gives me a fresh lens on what our students truly need today. I manage a homeschool, and my job is to execute the efficient production of tens of thousands of manufactured parts. These are skills that I will bring to oversee our district's resources wisely. I have the experience, passion, and knowledge to effectively run and bring positive change to our school district. So I'd appreciate your vote for Levi Wolf for School Board Director, Position 1 this November.
Thank you. Melanie?
Well, Well, thank you all for coming and asking all the important questions. As I mentioned, I'm really committed to the real work of being part of this wonderful school district and this school board. This position requires a growth mindset to understand diverse perspectives, the professional skills to make data-driven and informed decisions, and the experience to empathize with our community needs. When I talk about experience, it's not about the years, it's about the miles. I've been a lot of places, I've worked in a lot of different companies, and I've done and volunteered a million different ways. I've seen good ways to run boards, I've seen terrible ways to run boards. And years of experience gives me an advantage in doing that. It's not because of my age, it's because of what I've done during those years. I aim to ensure that our educators are valued, our culture is preserved, and equal opportunities are provided so that every student in our district can reach their potential. I'm really honored by the opportunity I was given a year ago when I was appointed to the school board, and I'm going to be honored to continue to do that in the next 4 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Levi, and thank you, Melanie, for coming today, answering these questions, and giving the audience a sense of who you are and why or why not they should be voting. So for everyone, don't forget to vote, and we will have a short break, and then we'll move on to Friday Harbor Mayor. Excuse me, Mayor of Friday Harbor. We'll see. I don't think I need to go back through the format again, but just in case someone wants it, I'm happy to. Just make sure all of your cell phones and other audio pieces of equipment are shut off so that we don't have to do anything else. And we're pleased to have the second forum is the Mayor of Friday Harbor, and with us tonight are Evan Peralez and Neil Santiago. And our format is, bring it on up. Similar to the last one, where each of them will have 3 minutes to introduce themselves again to the audience. And then we'll move to questions, and thank you. I've just gotten a lot of questions, so thank you. And we'll go through the question and answer, and basically I'll try and do them all. Sooner or later, we have to end this wonderful experience because people get tired, including our two candidates. So we will begin now, and Evan, would you begin? You have 3 minutes, please.
Yes, good evening. My name is Evan Peralez, and I am, in fact, running for mayor of Friday Harbor. I've lived on the island since 2016, and I'm often asked why I would want to take on the role of mayor for Friday Harbor. A lot of people think that's crazy, but my answer has been pretty consistent. I live in town, I work in town, I own businesses in town. When we moved here, this island was really an incredible experience for us. My goal as the mayor is to make sure that this island maintains the balance and beauty that exists today. As I contemplated running for mayor, it really came down to my commitment to this island, my commitment to this town. I'm incredibly passionate about what we do here. There is some rocky waters that are going to be coming up, and we'll talk a little bit tonight about budgets and what have you. But at the end of the day, I really appreciate the beauty of this island, and I want to make sure that it's here for the long run. I want to make sure that we are building a community where people can afford to live, where people can find housing, where people can keep jobs and earn living wages, and also supporting our businesses, supporting every aspect of this island. It's really not about politics. Thankfully, this is a nonpartisan position. It has nothing to do with politics. It's really about compassion. It's about intelligence, and it's about experience. I do feel that I bring a tremendous amount of experience to this role. I bring really an incredible amount of experience to the role of being mayor. I have experience with budgets. I have experience over 35 years of running businesses and working for corporations and being self-employed. I really have run the gamut through, of course, my career, and I'm committed to bringing that experience to the town.
Thank you. Millie?
Hello, Friday Harbor. You won. You have voted for two people that really care about this community. I think that after the November 4th election, I am optimistic about our future. And yeah, congrats, Evan, for round one. It's not about Evan, though, and it's not about Emilio. It's about you. It's about the voters. It's about the taxpayers. It's about what you need from your town government. I'm being sabotaged by the microphone again. I've been talking to a lot of you. I want to continue that process, of course, but I've learned a lot of your dreams and desires for the future and some things that are not working right now. I am excited to both implement those things and also to welcome you to participate in our democracy. I envision a Friday Harbor where we have more people making public comment, more people writing letters to the editor, more people coming to testimonies. I would love to engage you in the future. I think some of this comes from my background as a federal employee. I'm laid off right now with the government shutdown, but having worked for the executive branch for 12 years, I've seen what good governance can look like, and I think that's what you deserve, you, the people. Thanks for having us tonight. I'm looking forward to a generative conversation.
We'll move to questions now, and the first question comes from the audience. We live on an island. Town and county are intricately linked. How will you support the two and reduce the division? Emilio, would you begin, please?
It is unfortunate that, yes, there does seem to be a division between the town and county governments, but that is one of the top things that I am concerned about repairing, I would say, is the collaborative nature of this office. We have a lot of really amazing offices. We're the county seat. We're the only incorporated town in the county, actually. We have a lot of amazing opportunities to work with the county. I think there's a couple of, I would love to, I've seen some of our representatives at the town council meeting. I would love some of the town council folks to be at the county council meetings. The Housing Advisory Committee needs someone from the town government to be on that team. I want to work as a team, and I think that there will be some relationships to rebuild. I do recognize that, but I'm optimistic. I really love working with people. I feel like people are my special interest, and creating these relationships across these two organizations. I don't think that we have to always look at the past as an example. I would love to move forward into a new future of collaboration.
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think the root cause of this is, does the town want to have a good relationship with the county? And I don't know that I've seen that so much recently. There are people that really want that relationship to work. It needs to work. The town doesn't run without the county, and the county really doesn't run without the town. My feeling at the end of the day is our council, our town council has some incredible people on it. It has some real experience, people that have been there for a while. We need a mayor that can bring that council together, that can be the partner that they need to start really working to develop a better relationship locally in town, and then expand that into the county. There is a willingness, I can see it from the county. It happens at our town council meetings when they're there as representatives, and we need to reciprocate that. We need to be that partner for the county that they want us to be, and that they want to be to us.
As mayor, how will you support local small business owners? And Evan, would you begin that one?
I mean, that's a tricky question. How do you support small business owners? There's some programs that are coming out that are going to impact businesses. The FOG program is going to affect quite a few of the restaurants locally. They will have to upgrade some of their systems and put in grease traps and things of that nature. That's just one example. And we need to make sure that we're there for the businesses, that we're giving them the proper timelines, that we're working with them to find solutions. Being a small business owner in this town, I got to tell you, it is one of the hardest things I've ever done. It is a town where we are really reliant on tourism. And it's interesting because I think Emilio said this actually once before. We're interesting because we're a town that doesn't really like tourism. And yet, I can tell you personally, my businesses 100% rely on tourism. The town has the opportunity to continue to support businesses through the chamber by supporting initiatives that really do bring a more controlled, what I call chaos, to our tourism. Make sure that we're doing the right things and advertising for the right kind of tourism. That's what our businesses need. You guys like to eat out during the winter? We need to make sure that our businesses are thriving during the summer.
Amelia?
Can I get the question again, please?
Sure. As mayor, how will you support local small business owners?
Small businesses. Okay, I was wondering if we were going in the direction of tourism. Perhaps there will be a question. There always is. I'm not sure that I said that this town doesn't like tourism. I mean, some folks don't. I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool, the idea that people want to be here. That's why I took a job here, I suppose, in the first place. That's why most of you who have moved here because this place is special. As far as our local small businesses, Evan mentioned the FOG program. That's fats, oils, and grease. If you've attended a town council meeting, you will see Anna Maria always advocating on behalf of business owners in town. I encourage you to get involved. I encourage you to get involved in local governance. We had an excellent presentation from the Economic Development Committee last week at the town council meeting. The Chamber of Commerce, of course, has excellent resources and connections. I think that the continued partnership building, the idea that the town government actually cares about the rest of the town and the organizations in the town is important. I also, of course, businesses, of course, need employees, and those employees need housing, and they need appropriate salaries so they can actually stay here. The support of working people in the town is a huge priority for me. I am one of those working people. I rely on employee-provided housing. If I did not have employee-provided housing, I would not live in the town. And I have a lot of friends who live in some very strange and uncomfortable situations in the county because they can't afford to be here. I think that is important, and they always talk about the housing crisis, but it's real. Did cut off. You turned the sound off. It went off right when it stopped. No, perfect. Incredible.
Okay, I'll try and get over that since I bought this system and it's the second time out. Another question that came to us is, what is your position on the Hollywalk and Argyle controversy with the home trust in the town? And Emilio, would you please go first?
This was obviously discussed at the last forum. I am upset that this is still a question. I hope that this is not still a question come January. But folks need to own their units in Hollywalk. And the town has the opportunity to record the binding site plan as written. The Home Trust has made some very good gestures for these vegetation screen requirements. This is cutting out a little bit. We've seen forward motion with Argyle. there's a document called the development agreement, and this has been sitting for a very long time, and finally, with leadership from council position number 5, this was put on the agenda and discussed a couple of council meetings ago. The mayor sets the agenda for the council to discuss. I would hope that under my tenure, I would absolutely be advocating to get these things on the agenda and expediently addressed. What is my position? Yes, we need affordable housing. Yes, we need collaboration. Yes, it's taking too long. We all know the permitting process takes too long as well. But support.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's extremely disappointing that we're still talking about Hollywalk. I said this before, I'll say it again. It's been built, people live there, we need to approve it. It just needs to be done. People need to have their homes, they need to be able to have the opportunity to own them. I think the last statistic that I saw indicates that they've lost over $10,000 in equity while they're waiting for the town to figure out how to approve this project. It goes back to my point that I made a couple questions ago. It really comes down to the council. And I would say we unfortunately right now have a mayor who's not supportive of these projects. And we need a mayor that can support these projects and can at least work and collaborate with our council. They have the ability to get these projects approved. And that's where we need to be. Affordable housing isn't going away. We all know, I mean, for God's sakes, it's been an issue. I've read notes back into 2002, and affordable housing was an issue back then. And I can't believe that we're still having these same conversations today. We need leadership in the mayor's office that can drive this forward, that can support affordable housing projects, regardless of whether it's the Home Trust or somebody else. We need the support from that mayor's office. We need the support of the council and the town administration to make it happen so that people can live here.
Thank you. What steps might you want to take to give the Historic Preservation Review Board more authority? Evan, would you begin, please?
That's a question I probably wasn't really prepared for. Historical board. All I can say is I am working with my condo association to put forward a proposal for them to approve window replacement on the Cannery Village condos, which I don't know that anybody in this room probably thinks that is the historical buildings. But they are, and so I have to go through the process. I've met with the town administration. I've started the permit process. I just don't know that, do they need more authority? If you look at this town, it's interesting that we label things as historical, and I have a deep appreciation for that. We want to keep the charm and the magic of this town, but it's a mishmash, and so it needs to be a little more controlled, I think, going forward and I've seen it in the plans, you'll see it come out in the comprehensive plans, that we are working to do a more symbiotic building across the land so that we're building new buildings that are matching the current landscape and trying to keep that intact. And I appreciate that, but frankly, I don't know where to go with that historical, giving them more authority. I don't know about that.
Thank you. Sarah, Amelia?
I will try not to show my bias towards historic preservation. Some of you might know that I am the Cultural Resources Program Manager here on this island, which is historic buildings, archaeological sites, cultural landscapes, and tribal engagement. I looked at the organizational chart for the town, and there was a historic preservationist. Sandy had that position. It is no longer on the organizational chart. If you check it out, the most recent one that was published, where did that position go? I think we should have a historic preservationist back on town staff. Mr. Erickson, Ryan Erickson, the Director of Community Development, and the Town Marshal and the Fire Marshal has 5 positions below him, and 3 of them are vacant. That would be the historic preservationist, the code enforcement officer, one of the planners. I think we need to support town staff We need to support these departments. And then when we look at this landscape in town, we have edits coming to the comprehensive plan. This is a topic of discussion that is actually quite fascinating. The downtown core, the historic buildings here, yes, indeed, I think that we need to keep that charm, and I think we should build with a view of the future, but still with an elegant blend of where we came from. This place has a charming character. We should keep that. I'm on the Historic Preservation Grants Advisory Committee for the town of Cookville. They do a great job. I think we could learn a lot from Josh Pitts and his crew, and maybe Mayor Molly, but certainly collaborating even with other municipalities in the area that are doing this already and doing it very well and keeping that charm. I think that is part of a key to success.
Thank you. Immigrants and their children who live in Friday Harbor are worried that mass deportations will break up their families.
You want that one?
No. Okay, let me start over, please. Immigrants and their children who live in Friday Harbor are worried that mass deportations will break up their families. How will you, as mayor, respond to these fears? Emilio, could you go first, please?
This is obviously a very emotional subject. The town does not obviously manage our own police force. Our county sheriff's office has been incredibly good at communication. I think a lot of folks agree that the notices, the announcements, the statements that Mr. Peter is putting out have been helpful, especially with regard to immigration and customs enforcement in the county and on the island. The town doesn't have a lot of authority that intersects with those organizations. The town runs water, sewer, wastewater, stormwater, but the mayor figure, sure, we've talked a lot about the interfacing with the council, and we understand, the mayor has oversight over certain employees. The mayor is also a ceremonial position in some ways. The mayor can make proclamations. The mayor is someone who represents the town, and you're also voting on the future of this town. What is this town going to look like in 2 or 3 years? What is the diversity? What is the makeup of this town? And will the mayor be able to respond to the needs of the moment? I think that as mayor, we can engage our citizens more and connect them to resources for folks who are already subject matter experts on that. Family Resource Center, there's so many programs right now that are doing excellent work. I think that the dissemination of information, the support of our people, and the recognition of the diversity as our strength is pretty.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate that question. The food bank, interestingly enough, noticed that there was a drop in participants, people coming in to pick up food on a weekly basis, and they couldn't figure out why. They finally did a little bit of research, and they found out that it was really a significant part of the Hispanic population that was terrified to come out in public, even to grab groceries, for fear that they would be snatched. And that's incredibly disheartening. This is a town that thrives on diversity. This is a town that really celebrates everybody. And I certainly would think that either one of us as mayor would continue to support that agenda, to support the diversity in this community and make sure that we did everything we could to make sure that everybody felt safe here, that everybody has the security of knowing that they're not going to be taken. It is ultimately not the mayor's, it's not the mayor's, unfortunately, ability to control that narrative, as in fact the sheriff is run through the county, but you can do You can do everything in your power to make sure that we are celebrating the diversity that makes this town great and supporting the people that live here.
Thank you. Based on the powers and limitations of the position of mayor in our structure of town government, how do you plan to accomplish your stated goals? And Emilio, would you please go first?
Whoever asked that is a fantastically elegant question. No, it is. It really is. Yes, there are limitations, of course, to the powers of the mayor. The mayor can influence and has the power of influence. I think that is the biggest way that I'm seeing this question pan out. The mayor in this town, I don't know if you know, cannot veto. We barely vote. I think it's a bunch of council members have to be absent for the mayor actually to vote. The mayor is running this council meeting. The mayor is engaging the council in the process of discussion on the floor. It's strange, and it doesn't happen everywhere, but if you go to a council meeting, it's a unanimous vote almost all the time. There's very little discussion, comparative to other communities. I would love to see a mayor in the office who engages the council on these discussion issues and helps to come to a solution.
It comes down to, again, having a mayor that can work and collaborate with the council. That's really where the power of the mayor comes. Yeah, you dictate the agenda, that's for sure. You are the one that helps design it. But you need the council moving in the right directions. You need the council working with you to get anything accomplished. That is probably the number one thing. There are so many, I could spend probably the next hour talking about what you would do to accomplish your goals as mayor. One is working with the employees of the town, working to improve the morale across the board, making sure that you are addressing their issues, making sure that you're working with the administration to make sure that we're on the right path. There's certainly been some issues that have popped up that need to be addressed. And most importantly, it really comes down to, again, working with the council, making sure that you are a good partner, that you're a good steward to them to make sure that your shared ideals are accomplished. That's the only way that this town is going to be successful. And unfortunately, we've had 4 years of pretty much the exact opposite of that. And it's time to move past that and start really collaborating and working collectively together.
Thank you. The COVID pandemic was something no one was trained or prepared for, but leaders all needed to respond to it. When have you faced something completely surprising, even overwhelming, and how did you handle it? What resources did you call upon? And Emilio, would you go first, please?
Steve, could you repeat that, please? Louder, please.
Here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a long one.
I'll be happy to, with a microphone that actually works. Get it on. The COVID pandemic was something no one was trained or prepared for, but leaders all needed to respond to it. When have you faced something completely surprising, even overwhelming, and how did you handle it? What resources did you call upon? Better? Okay, thank you. Really?
Some of you may know that I have a background in wildland fire response. If you have been paying attention, you've noticed that things are getting more and more extreme. So, the situation I would like to discuss is my time on the Dixie Fire, the largest single fire in the state of California's history. I got the call when it was about 10,000 acres. By the time I left my assignment, it was 400,000 acres. It eventually grew to over 900,000 acres. And I was part of an initial team that went in, and as an archaeologist, historic preservationist, they gave me bundles of structure wrap. It looks kind of like a big roll of tinfoil. And I was under command of this group that was deciding which historic fire lookout we're going to wrap, which vacation cabins are we going to put sprinkler systems on, when do we decide that it's not safe to work in an area. We accomplished a mission that I was really proud of. We continued up to the top of this bridge, and the temperature rose. The winds got higher, the relative humidity dropped, and I pulled the crew out. We didn't complete that mission, but that whole area was completely burned over within 2 hours. And we had to make the decision of when people matter more than the mission. So yes, COVID, of course, was a surprise. But we have all kinds of scenarios that I would hope we prepare for and understand how to respond to within the structure of a proven incident command system.
Yeah, COVID. Boy, if you want to join the COVID, try running an assisted living community. I had the pleasure of running Village at the Harbor during COVID, and I'll tell you, for 2.5 years, it was probably one of the most stressful things that I've ever done in my life. It tested me in ways I don't know that I've ever been tested professionally before. The responsibility of keeping 36 seniors alive, plus your entire staff, while they all want to go out to dinner, or if some of my employees want to go to the casino, which I didn't even know was possible, but apparently casinos were still open mass during COVID. But it really tested every, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, that experience tested every fiber of my being. It really tested, I think, every fiber of my leadership, having to work with the State Department of Health, working with the local Department of Health, not always agreeing with what they wanted, and you try to balance the needs of the residents, the needs of the staff, but the needs of safety, and it was one of the biggest challenges I've ever faced, to be honest with you. So much so that I took a 2-month break before we sold the village, just to kind of refresh a little bit. But it made me stronger. It made me much more capable of, not capable, but it helped me understand my limitations. It helped me understand my capabilities much better, and it made me a much tougher person going forward, and that I knew that I was resilient and that I could really, to be honest with you, overcome anything.
All right, I have run out of all the questions I've received, so we will move to closing comments. And Emilio, please, and it's 2 minutes.
Wow, we are finishing early.
Yeah, we are.
Thank you for your questions. Thank you for engaging in this session. Of course, thank you to the League for the work that you do and for putting on this forum. I alluded to this earlier, but I do want to encourage you again that the purpose of representative democracy is for all of us to be involved. That's why you're all here, and I'm so glad you are. Actually, just show of hands real quick. How many people cannot vote for this position? How many people live in this county? Oh my goodness. That also shows you the gravity of this situation. The entire island is affected by this town. This is our only ferry connection. This is our 2 grocery stores. This is where our hospital is. This town really does matter. What happens here does affect the rest of the island. It's very clear based on this audience, of course. But I think that with both of us want that. We want this collaboration between the town and the county. We want to support the town specifically. I think the role of mayor is an opportunity, I would say, to think forward, to think about what the future of Friday Harbor is going to be. You are again voting for what this town is going to look like in 3 or 4 years, and who is going to be able to meet the moment 3 or 4 years from now. I appreciate all the support I've had so far. I've loved meeting you. I would love to engage you if you have anything else you'd like to talk about. We've still got, 26 days, I think, till polls close. So you'll get your ballots next week. But yeah. Thanks, guys.
Man, I feel for all you county people. Yeah, there's a lot of county people here. That's got to be a bummer. But so, just really quickly going back to my assisted living experience, I had an employee that worked for me there, and her and her partner lost a cabin in a fire. And I told the story at an event a few weeks ago because it's really a pretty powerful story. I remember sitting in my office after I just learned that they had lost their cabin. They'd lost everything they owned. And as I was sitting there, and I was thinking, like, what do you do for an employee, right? Do you give them a check for a couple $100? Do you give them a check for $1,000? Like, how much is enough to even make a tiny dent? And before I could even write that check, that employee came into my office and she said, I have to actually tell people to stop giving us things. This island had stepped up for her and had given them everything. And that is the spirit of Friday Harbor. And that is what we need to get past the turmoil of the last 4 years, of the terrible council meetings. And we need leadership. And I have that experience, and I have the leadership to bring clarity and peaceful negotiations and collaboration back to the town of Friday Harbor. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the candidates for being here and speaking with the audience. I'd like to thank the audience for the questions and attention. And I'd like to thank Robbie Lawson for being a wonderful timer. And the league invites you to come on Monday at noon in the conference room at the library. We're having a program, and we've invited 3 of the island farmers to come and talk about what it's like to grow and live and work and survive on this island. It starts at noon, and I think we have 3 really wonderful people coming. So if you can, it's 12 noon at the library in the conference room, and it'll go until about 2 p.m. or so.
Say Monday?
So, it's Monday, this coming Monday.
Will it be videoed or anything so that people can't make it and still be able to watch it?
We're hoping that if all of our AV equipment works, yes. But you know, there's always that thing. So anyway, thank you very much. Have a great evening, and please don't forget, vote.